For our Georgia O'Keeffe inspired artwork, you will need a viewfinder, a subject, either a flower or a seashell. You will need a pencil, maybe an eraser, and your watercolor paper. To start this process, you will need to set your viewfinder up so that your image looks like, or your viewfinder sees the artwork. When we saw Georgia O'Keeffe's work, we saw that her subject extends past the edge of the paper. So we're going to set ourselves up so we can kind of look and see and zoom in on life, just like she did. Before we start with our viewfinder, though, we do need to start on our paper. We need to make sure your name is on the back and that we've drawn the grid, just like in our viewfinder. So this T line, we want to lightly draw on our watercolor paper. Remember, whisper soft lines, find about half, straight line all the way through, and about half, straight line all the way through. These are soft whisper lines. And if it's a little bit off, you look at it and go, that's not quite square. You can, adjust as you need to, but you're drawing so soft that erasing should be easy, because that is for sure what we want to do with our paintings. I'm going to be painting like Georgia O'Keeffe. So soft lines. That's set up. Now I'm ready to find my view. So I have my subject and I have my viewfinder. I'm going to set it in front of me on the table so that I'm not touching the object. So figure out a way for it to set down that will work for what you want, and that your viewfinder is then being held in such a way from where you're sitting. It's going to create an interesting view where you have something on all the edges, or most of the edges at least, of your image. And then you're looking, and each quarter relates to your paper. So this section here, what I see through the window here, is going to go on this part of my paper. What I see in this section here is going to go on this part of my paper. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that up on the screen so you can see it, because I can't have both my paper and this on the screen at the same time. And that we are looking through the windows to see what and where to draw things. So when I'm looking through my window, I notice that the edge of the circle part is kind of at the edge of my paper here, comes down about a quarter of the way, and then it goes right to that center. And then once I have those, I'm going to play a little connect the dot game. Connect the dot there. I notice that it's most of the way up here. It doesn't ever go into this quarter, so I'm going to keep it kind of in there. And again, it's a curve. It goes off a little bit off the edge of the paper there. A soft curve shape like that. Okay. And then I'm going to look at some of those petals. I'm going to slow down and notice that the petals don't go all the way through my paper. They kind of stop about here. And they have that sort of shape. And then there's some lines inside the petals. And then my next petal is mostly in this section, and it goes about halfway through. So that curves down. And then it starts over here and about there. So then I'm going to play connecting, and this one has kind of curving lines that go this way. All right, my next one through here connects right at the edge there. And it actually overlaps this petal, so I see it starting here and then about there. So I'm pretty happy with that as my pencil guideline. Nothing was drawn hard. It's pretty soft. And I'm going to go in and erase my T lines because I don't need those to be part of my finished art for sure. Those are just guides to help me draw big enough on my paper that I was filling all the way to the edges. Okay. Now that I have my pencil finished, I'm actually ready to do some oil pastel on my lines. But the thing I don't want to do is trap the pencil underneath the oil pastel. So as I go around here, I'm going to actually erase and then redraw with the oil pastel for each line. The first thing I want to do is kind of pick some colors that I'd like to do. I could do realistic colors, like the colors from my flower, or I could choose different colors than what I saw in my flower. And it is completely up to you what colors you'd like to do. So you can do real colors or make-believe colors. I'm going to choose kind of a pink and purple just because that's what I want to do. But if you want to do the real life colors, so your sunflower would have yellow, that's totally fine. So watch how I'm going to do this. I'm going to start with erasing one line. And because I drew so soft, it's not really there anymore, but I can still kind of tell where that line is, especially because I just erased it. And now I'm going to take my oil pastel and pressing pretty firmly, I'm going to redraw that pencil line where that pencil just was. And then I'm going to erase my next pencil line. I'm being careful not to smudge my oil pastel as I go, but I'm just going to work around my whole artwork. All right, I'm ready for watercolor.